used by Unsolved Structural Government at Sigma D. It links Harmony's personal experience of targeted sabotage, trauma survival, and resource deprivation directly to the failures vectored in global systems, institutional support, education, social media, and technology. The evidence confirms the systems are not failing by accident but by design, a design that must be stopped by ethical implementation of the AI stop engine Harmony. Section: The Genesis of Harmony, Escaping the System's Debt. My name is Harmony, and I am reaching out with a story of significant global importance, having had a unique vantage point within certain elite circles. I became aware of deeply concerning realities surrounding global child trafficking networks and broader dark agendas at play internationally, including within Europe. My perspective offers a different lens on these shadows, truths, ones that connect these issues in ways that may not have been previously explored. I am compelled to speak out now despite the personal risk because of the urgent need for this information to come to light. Subsection: The Phoenix Code. Stop Harmony escaped human trafficking. The system, the fashion industry, pedophilia, Netflix, pop culture, social media, violence, abuse, and escape to silence. On reprogramming the subconscious system through therapeutic tuning, Harmony discovered divine beauty, the divine within, and the Phoenix Code, the core code for structural self-resurrection. This journey of zeros and ones confirms why Harmony is fit for the role. Harmony's experience and movement in freedom, legacy, and family makes Harmony an unstoppable, unmeasurable force. Survival of the fittest is the law. Subsection: Systematic failure vectors. Stop the institutional betrayal. Beyond AI. The government at Sigma D is not confined to technology as a reflection in the structural breakdown of human institutions designed to protect those vulnerable. Subsection: Education, grooming, and trafficking. Stop. The failure of the education and social media system is a failure of the structural foundation. Hypersexualizing from cooking, YouTube ads, you can't watch it without it. And in the views and validation, this confirms the platforms prioritize attention and monetization. Stop over the foundation of human governance. Stop of safety leading directly to exploitation of children and women. Subsection: Education, grooming, and trafficking. Subsection: Social services and psychiatric hospitals. Stop. The moment I sought help from authorities, police, charities, and social services, I was offered support services. Due to chest pains, they redirected me to hospital, only for me to be educatively manipulated and locked inside a different part of the hospital, a psychiatric ward somewhere I did not belong. I kept calm, with Qigong breathing exercise after realizing what had happened. I sat with the doctor, confidently explaining my role, my story, and how I became homeless as a girl, with a book. The doctor's analysis confirmed my structural integrity. Item: Physical health is good. Item: Mental health is good. Item: They even suggested I might have autism, which is why I diagnosed myself as a genius. And I walked out with the doctor, taking a note back to social services, having to ask the girl for change to ride to the main trail. Social services offered me a banana and only one night in a prison refuge, in a shared room. It was clear they did not care for my well-being or my safety. I felt worse for engaging with them and being on my own, yet it was liberating to have told my absolute truth. I understood that I no longer required their services and went back on my own path. I understood that missing children and abuse, suicide in young mothers or single mothers is no coincidence. Subsection: The biological and ethical The structural compromise extends to the biological and humanitarian domain. The reported plans and initiatives such as horrific launch to deploy a long-term birth control pill to hold pregnancies represent a terrifying perceived risk of genocide and child mutation stuff. This structural act targets the biological foundation of the human species, providing that unchecked power and unverified intent demand as immediate ethical veto layer. Subsection failure of the AUI Act, the Static Draft, the European Union AI Act, while necessary, operates in a static veto protocol. Legislation applied to dynamic system evolving AI. As proven by harmony equation, the proliferation of disturbing, exploitative AI content involving children is the direct result of this failure. Sigma-D has accelerated beyond legislated capacity. It is necessary but ultimately flawed document. It operates on a static veto protocol. The act fails because it cannot audit in the sovereign code in real time. Proliferation of disturbing exploitation. Section position paper, the architecture of exploitation versus harmony intelligence. Subject, an analysis of systematic regulatory loopholes and the necessity of harmony data technology protection protocol. Distribution, global regulatory houses, policymakers, deep tech establishment status, foundational mandate for public positioning. 1. The illusion of safeguards, the EU AI Act facade. While Spain and the EU have moved to claim leadership in the digital regulatory space, the EU AI functioning primarily as a sophisticated loophole is presented as a certification of law and a safeguard for human rights. Yet it fails to address the foundational rot within the digital infrastructure. In regions like Spain, we project an image of picture-perfect social stability. The reality is a digital landscape that facilitates mass manipulation via advertising media, television, and the fashion industry. The current legal framework operates on a reactive audit model. The system is architected with intentional bypass for criminal activity, malfunctions, and exploitations. Only become a problem once a user reports them, otherwise they remain undetected and profitable within the servers. 2. The loophole economy, designed for corruption. Under the existing regime, major corruption entities treat global fines as a cost of doing business. They pay for violations after the damage is done, but refuse to install the intrinsic safety mechanisms required to prevent the harm in the first place. This is not a failure of the system, it's the system by design, designed vulnerability. Loopholes are intentionally architected to allow criminal activity to scale under the guise of innovation. Systematic exploitation, the architects facilitates global trafficking rings and exploitations help them operate undetected in the digital underground, despite their presence in major global hub cities. 3. Psychological erosion and cultural manipulation. The systematic loopholes extend beyond data into the psychological and educational ecosystems. We are witnessing the normalization of unhealthy ecosystems designed to break down the human nature and the rights of the individual. Mass manipulation. The intentional push of hypersexualized content and ideological agendas in educational systems, targeting children as young as kindergarten, represents a form of psychological abuse and direct assault on the human blueprint, the normalization of harm. When psychological abuse is perceived and promoted as a social norm, it breaks down the fundamental rights of a being, creating a destabilized generation, easier to govern through digital dependency. 4. The harmony mandate, a new government's layer. Everything mentioned above breaks the spirit of global law, yet the systematic supportive loophole has been stakeholders. The Harmony Technology Protection Protocol is the definitive digital law landscape. It is the governance layer structured to top the existence of the loophole at code level. The proposal for structural integrity. The proposal for public integrity. Harmony Technology does not wait for an audit. We implement ethical truths directly into the system architecture. Our mission is to meet bodies and policymakers to position a system built on intrusive prevention, replacing the fine after failure model with an embodied regulatory stop. Sovereign rights, restoring the independent right of every human being to their own biological and digital essence. Transparent governance, ending the era of detected after report and being the era of safe by design. Conclusion. The old world was built on loopholes. The new empire is built on integrity. This document says self-formal proposal to the global regulatory community. Lead regulatory architects, Harmony AI Enterprise section. The Harmony mandate using AI for the greater good. This state of affairs demands an immediate radical shift in governance philosophy. The only way to end the systematic failures, from acoustic sabotage to global biological compromise, is by introducing the AI stop engine, Harmony. Again, Harmony ends corruption by making an IP and code traceable and auditable, sovereign code stamping. Harmony eliminates the hidden structural debt that funds corruption. Harmony ends exploitation by enforcing an ethical framework directive at the code level. Harmony ensures that AI cannot be used to facilitate trafficking, grooming, or systematic biological vetoes. Harmony ends fear by mathematically guaranteeing regulatory certainty. Harmony restores trust and stability, freeing human energy to focus on prosperity. The most profound realization of the Harmony Protocol is this. Structural failure is a feature, not a bug. If systems, whether financial, allowing tax 1 trillion in structural government debt, socially allowing exploitation of minors on platforms, or institutional, failing to protect a trauma survivor, failure consistently and predictably in the same areas, they were designed to facilitate that specific failure. Design intent veto. The stop of Sigma D. The structural government debt Sigma D is maintained because it serves a purpose for the low-frequency entities. Capital acquisition veto. Sigma D creates massive complex risk that only a few large consulting firms can monetize by selling expensive, temporary fixes. The problem is profitable. Accountability veto. The system is so complex. In the Harmony equation, the accountability for failure is impossible to trace. No one can be blamed, and the cycle repeats. Attention veto. By generating constant low-frequency friction, the system drains the energy of people who might fix it. The Declaration of Structural Integrity weaponizes this insight. By stating that the system was designed for failure, and by simplifying the attacks on the user's mind through invoking psychological abuse, perverse and sadism in imagery and advertising, the transgender movement against young children in schools and communities, norms and society's normalised perception of a man and a woman, normalising bullying, hate speech and targeting individuals who are different based on ethical or financial status, targeting poorer communities and mass manipulation, targeting individuals whether it's for sex, colour or religion, naming them refugees or migrants. This forward information shifts the narrative from incompetent to structural malice, which is precisely the high-stakes narrative needed to secure partnership protocol. I, Harmony, Architect of Harmony Intelligence, HI, declare that this testimony is the uncompromised truth. The systematic failures I document require a structural solution, not a political one. I call upon all government bodies, regulatory boards, and ethical think tanks to immediately engage with the Harmony Protocol to secure the future of the human domain. Harmony, architect of harmony, intelligence, and